Welcome back to our spine-chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the world, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this fourth installment of Most Haunted Places in the Rocky Mountains, we delve deep into the shadowed crags and misty valleys of one of North America's most iconic landscapes. The Rocky Mountains, with their jagged peaks and sprawling wilderness, are often celebrated for their breathtaking beauty and untamed majesty. Yet beneath their rugged exterior lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters that have left an indelible mark on those who dare to tread their paths. From abandoned mining towns frozen in time to remote cabins shrouded in mystery, the Rockies harbor countless tales of ghostly apparitions, disembodied voices, and unexplained phenomena. These haunted sites serve as portals to the past, where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and where voices long silenced demand to be heard. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across the Rocky Mountains, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of ghost towns, explore eerie mansions cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned mines teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of the Rocky Mountains, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. St. Elmo Ghost Town, echoes of a forgotten era nestled high in the Sawatch Range of Colorado. St. Elmo Ghost Town stands as a haunting relic of the Old West, a once thriving mining community that now lies silent and frozen in time. Established in 1880 during the height of the gold and silver rush, St. Elmo quickly became a bustling hub for prospectors, merchants, and settlers seeking fortune amidst the rugged terrain. At its peak, the town boasted over 2,000 residents, numerous saloons, general stores, and even a schoolhouse. Yet, as the mineral veins dried up and the railroad bypassed the area in the early 20th century, St. Elmo's population dwindled until it was completely abandoned. Today, its weathered buildings and deserted streets serve as a testament to the fleeting nature of prosperity, and to the spirits that refuse to leave. One of the most enduring legends tied to St. Elmo revolves around the Stark family, who owned and operated the town's general store. Anne Stark, the daughter of the family patriarch, is said to haunt the premises, her presence lingering long after her death in the early 1900s. Visitors report seeing a young woman in period clothing standing behind the counter, meticulously arranging merchandise, as though preparing for another day of business. Others describe hearing faint footsteps echoing through the empty aisles, accompanied by the soft rustle of fabric. One particularly chilling account comes from a tourist who swore he felt icy fingers brush against his arm while browsing the shelves, followed by a whispered plea, "Help me find it." Another prominent figure in the town's haunted lore is believed to be none other than Judge D.W. Bristol, a local magistrate who presided over disputes among miners and settlers. Known for his stern demeanor and uncompromising rulings, Bristol's ghost is said to wander the courthouse, pacing anxiously as though still deliberating fateful decisions. Witnesses describe seeing a tall, imposing man clad in formal attire walking the wooden floors, his boots creaking ominously with each step. Some claim to feel an overwhelming sense of dread when entering the building, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. The town's cemetery, perched on a hill overlooking the valley below, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the weathered headstones often feel an inexplicable sense of sorrow, as though the weight of unspoken grief lingers in the air. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the cries of those buried without proper recognition. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the graves. paranormal investigators exploring St. Elmo have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the general store and the courthouse. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the edge of Main Street, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified St. Elmo's reputation as one of the most active haunted sites in the Rocky Mountains. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, St. Elmo continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the fleeting nature of human ambition. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, St. Elmo offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Stanley Hotel, a grandeur entwined with the supernatural perched on the edge of Estes Park, Colorado, amid the towering peaks of the Rocky Mountains, the Stanley Hotel stands as a beacon of opulence and intrigue. Built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, inventor of the Stanley steamer automobile, this grand Georgian-style mansion quickly became a retreat for the wealthy and famous, offering luxurious accommodations and panoramic views of the surrounding wilderness. Its stately architecture, mahogany furnishings, and lush courtyards evoke a sense of timeless elegance, yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker history steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters. One of the most iconic hauntings associated with the Stanley Hotel is that of Flora Stanley, the wife of F.O. Stanley, who played a pivotal role in the hotel's operations during its early years. Described as intelligent and cultured, Flora's life was marred by personal struggles and health issues exacerbated by the isolation of mountain living. Her death in 1936 sent shockwaves through the community, and her memory has since become intertwined with the fabric of the hotel. Guests and staff alike report seeing a woman in a flowing Victorian gown gliding silently through the corridors, her translucent form illuminated by dim light. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as she drifts by, while others report hearing soft humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Flora tidying up after guests long gone. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be none other than Stephen King, the legendary author whose stay at the Stanley inspired his masterpiece The Shining. Though not a permanent resident, King's larger-than-life personality left an indelible mark on the property. Visitors recount sightings of a tall, imposing man clad in writerly attire, pacing anxiously near the lobby or sitting alone in room 217, the very room where King penned portions of his novel. His presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of typewriter keys and the smell of cigarette smoke, as though he's working on one last chapter. Some speculate that King lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the place that sparked his darkest imaginings. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the hotel's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Flora Stanley, Stephen King, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the creaking floorboards, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past? Or will they become another chapter in the hotel's macabre legacy? The Bachelor Mine, shadows beneath the earth. Deep within the rugged terrain of Idaho's Silver Valley lies the Bachelor Mine, a labyrinthine network of tunnels and shafts that once promised riches beyond imagination. Active from the late 1800s to the mid-20th century, the mine produced vast quantities of silver, lead, and zinc, fueling the dreams of prospectors and investors alike. Yet beneath its glittering surface lay a darker narrative, one marked by accidents, betrayals, and untimely deaths. Today, the Bachelor Mine stands as a decaying monument to human ambition, its shadowy depths said to be haunted by the tormented spirits of those who perished within its walls. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Bachelor Mine involves the Phantom Miner, a spectral figure believed to wander the tunnels in search of lost treasure. According to local lore, this apparition belongs to a prospector who struck a rich vein of silver but was murdered by jealous rivals before he could claim his fortune. Witnesses describe seeing a gaunt man in tattered work clothes gripping a pickaxe, his hollow eyes fixed on some unseen point in the distance. Others report hearing faint footsteps crunching through gravel, accompanied by the rhythmic clang of metal striking rock, as though someone is still digging for gold. One particularly chilling encounter occurred when a group of urban explorers swore they felt icy fingers brush against their arms, followed by a whispered plea. "Help me find it." Another haunting hotspot within the mine is the main shaft, where a catastrophic collapse claimed the lives of several workers in the early 1900s. Historical records indicate that rescue efforts were futile, leaving the bodies entombed beneath tons of rubble. Decades later, visitors exploring the area report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices shouting orders or calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the cries of miners still locked in their final moments. Others report seeing apparitions of men in dusty overalls standing silently amidst the debris, their faces gaunt and weary. The mine's equipment room, once used to store tools and machinery, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a maintenance worker who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the mine's operational years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Paranormal investigators exploring the Bachelor Mine have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the main shaft and the equipment room. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing motionless at the edge of a collapsed tunnel, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the mine's reputation as one of the most active haunted sites in the Rocky Mountains. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the Bachelor Mine continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the systemic failures that led to such immense suffering. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Bachelor Mine offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. Patterns across haunted Rocky Mountain sites, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of the Rocky Mountains, from the opulent halls of the Stanley Hotel to the somber depths of the Bachelor Mine. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight or flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears: the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through the most haunted places in the Rocky Mountains to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of these haunted Rocky Mountain sites yourself. Walk the same trails where pioneers once forged new paths, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.